welcome everybody. My name is Tom Chavez. I'm a city councilman here in Temple City, and glad to see you guys come out today. It's so nice and cool. I was a little worried because, you know, air conditioning here hasn't been working that great. And, but it looks like they got it fixed, so what more can you ask for, huh? Air conditioning and food. And of course, a great program as well. So I see some familiar faces, I see some new faces, so that's good. You know, I was thinking on the way over here, it always seems like, for me anyway, crime issues sometimes come up when it's hot. I don't know why, but this is the time we want to make extra careful, keep our eyes open, and I'm sure they'll talk about that tonight. And you know, just keep vigilant. You know, I think our stats are down a little bit, right? So that's a good thing. So hopefully it'll keep trending in that direction. So thanks again for coming out. There's plenty of food, so please feel free to go back for seconds. And if there's anything I can do later, or you ever always get a hold of me on the website or any of the other council members, please feel free to contact us, and we'll be glad to help you out any way we can. So again, welcome. Thank you for coming. Enjoy your evening, okay? Thank you.
All right, folks. Test one. All right, folks, how are you? My name is Jose Amaya. I'm the Public Safety Supervisor for the City of Temple City. I want to just give you guys a quick welcome. You know, I appreciate you guys coming out to our meeting. You know, we have a lot of good information for you guys, just to kind of go over different areas that have kind of been impacting the city. You know, information that'll help you kind of stay safe in your homes. And hopefully just bring some general awareness in case there was some issues that maybe you weren't aware, didn't realize were going on. So I'm going to turn it over to Deputy Archando, who's going to start the presentation, and we're just going to go from there.
Hi, good evening, everybody. In the back, can you hear me okay? Perfect. So, I'm one of the 3 members on the Temple City Special Assignment Team. Partner over here, Deputy Bowie, is the other one. And our third is on vacation with his family. So, enjoying a couple of well-earned days off. And then my name is Randall Unhun. Some topics that we're going to go over today. You'll get me again for residential burglaries. And then my partner, Deputy Bowie, is going to go over theft, traffic, and pedestrian awareness. And Jose Amaya in the back is going to go over some emergency preparedness from the city. We'll take questions kind of throughout, but we're going to try to limit those to things that are very brief and basic questions until the end. If it is something that's personal to you, we'll have some people here at the end, and we'll take the more personal questions that might involve longer answers at the end after the presentation's over. We're going to start with some crime trends. So once a month, every Wednesday, the last Wednesday typically of the month, sometimes with exceptions, our team, along with City Council and Public Safety Department, will give a presentation on the kind of the general overall stats, crime trends in the city. And then for this meeting, once a month as well, we will give you guys kind of a quick summary of our full report that we typically give on Wednesdays. Those Wednesday meetings, just like this one, are open to the public. Anyone is welcome to show up. They do include breakfast. And they're basically formatted where the deputy will give a presentation. It's a city meeting, so they'll have open comments if people want to present comments. Yeah, so if you can join us on the last Wednesday around 7 a.m. at City Hall. So some of the trends in Temple City and the greater San Gabriel Valley, or even the greater LA area really, are burglary, larceny. Hopefully none of you here have been a victim, but if you have, we're very sorry, and we're going to try to go over some tips and tricks to sort of mitigate that further on in this presentation. Things that our station, our department, and our team do to sort of try to mitigate crime in general. We are out patrolling. We have our regular patrol deputies, and then Deputy Bowie, myself, and our other partner will supplement those patrolling those areas around the city as well. We're fortunate that our city council gives a lot of support to us, our department, and they allow us to hire additional deputies that we also send out as kind of saturation patrols. And if we note problem areas, we'll direct those deputies along with us to sort of be in those areas and try to prevent the crime or catch the guys that are doing those crimes, whatever the crime may be. We do have a volunteer program. Unfortunately, it's kind of small. So if anybody is interested in volunteering, that would be a big help. Basically, you would get to go out in your community, drive around in a white uniform and a white car. You get a radio, and you're basically just like an additional set of eyes and ears for the deputies. You get direct communication with us via the radio. It is a small program that you'll go through, and in your packets, I believe on the last page, has the coordinator's information. If anybody's interested, you can give him a call, or you can shoot him an email. His name's James Johns. It's a good program for anybody who wants to kind of be a little bit more involved in their community and help out law enforcement along the way. Other things we do are these types of meetings where we all get together, we allow questions, comments, concerns, and we also give our presentation on the 3 topics mentioned earlier. Although yearly, we do review those topics for any changes. So also you were given a handout that has questions, comments, concerns basically. So in that, if there are other topics besides the 3 or 4 that we're discussing this year, please feel free to write them down, turn them in. We do read them in our November and December break. And for January, we make any pertinent changes. So here's some of the basic crime stats that we present to the city. It's monthly, and even though we're in August, we are always a month behind when we present the stats. So the stats you're getting today are for June. As you can see on the bottom, it is one of the lowest months that we've had year to date for Part 1 crimes, which Part 1 crimes are basically everything you see on your handouts on the left side, from homicide on down to arson. This is a year-to-date comparison from last year to current. The percentages are unfortunately not great. It has been a tough year everywhere for a lot of property type crimes. Thankfully, as was mentioned earlier, our numbers are trending down a little bit, but still up for the year. We're hopeful that in the next few months we will continue to try to bring those percentages down. But unfortunately this year our residential burglaries are up 95%. Commercial burglaries are up 56%. Burglaries for vehicles are up 50%. Grand theft is thankfully down about 14%. Petty theft is up close to 80%, and our overall Part 1 crimes, which is that list on your previous handout, are at about 44% up. This page just kind of gives you a comparison of the past 4 years. Obviously, our 2025 year is up to current. But as I said, numbers are trending down since July and August, and we're hopeful to keep them going in that direction. Every week, either I or one of my partners will review every report that is written by a deputy in Temple City. We read them, and then we'll take the Part 1 crimes that occurred, and we'll give a quick summary, which the summary is basically the type of crime that occurred, where the crime occurred, roughly the time of day that it occurred, and a very brief and very general summary of what happened. And that is sent out weekly. I believe, Lucy, Waters via Nixle? Nixle. So if you sign up for a Nixle account, it is free. That is one of the different ways that the city and the Sheriff's Department can communicate with their communities. On top of the crime blotter, we also can send out different notifications for events and incidents that are occurring in the city, whether it's something that's ongoing that's related to law enforcement, or things such as community events like Coffee with the Cop can also go out via Nixle. It's not a bad thing to sign up for. It's a free account. And next, we're going to get into our first topic, which is me, again, sorry. But it's going to be residential burglaries. So we're going to start off with a video. This video is given from the perspective of someone who was arrested for larceny, theft type crimes. And then we'll kind of go over some of the things he says in a little bit more detail from our perspective. So we'll start with what he has to say.
I really never broke into houses, but I learned a lot from guys that got a lot of time in prison. There's this one guy, he's doing 256 years. He told me this is how he did it. He'd drive in a van, he put company signs on there, like carpet company, moving company, signs on the van, have them made with, magnets or whatever. They'll even go rent a U-Haul and go scope out the neighborhood. One of his easiest thing was sometimes he saw where people left their house key because somebody else had to come and get in. Somebody didn't have a key. They see a cracked window open, they're going to get into that cracked window. They got ladders. Hey, there's a lot of money in that house. Make sure all your windows are locked at all times. Don't be leaving your garage open and letting people see the inside of it. Like if you're outside doing your yard, don't leave your garage door open. I know you feel comfortable, you're at your house, you can, yeah, well, I'm out right here on the yard, but you're giving the opportunity to a thief to see what you got inside your house, to see where your door is at. You're gonna see a company van thinking it's a company van or a U-Haul, and it's not. It's thieves looking at your house. Yeah, this is the one we're gonna hit. One thing you gotta be careful with, you gotta be careful who you're hiring to come to your house, to fix your plumbing, to do your carpet work, to do anything. The guy that you're hiring might have some help that's a thief. He's scoping out the area, making sure there's no alarms. The best thing to do is tell your neighbor, you know what, these guys are gonna come in, they're gonna come and move my furniture, I won't be here today. Neighbors gotta help your neighbors out too sometimes, you gotta put, the community got to put their part too. No matter where you're at, you can get broken into because you're not paying attention to your surroundings when you leave your house. That's all I gotta say.
So he kind of gave a fair amount of information, obviously in a very quick period of time. We'll kind of get into some of the things he said with a little bit more detail, but for me, the biggest takeaway, in my opinion, from his little video here is what he said about community. And it is absolutely true that, yes, we as law enforcement are out there. We're doing our very best to catch the bad guys, to find them. But as I mentioned earlier, there's only 3 of us on the team. We have a couple of guys who go out and patrol. Take that, you got 5, maybe 6 deputies out there for your city. Well, there are a lot more streets, neighborhoods, homes in Temple City than 5 or 6. There's roughly 40 of you in this room now. You combine that with us, now we've got 50, potentially 50 different streets that are covered by a different set of eyes. Just because you don't have a badge or haven't gone through an academy or any training doesn't mean that you can't see when something just looks a little bit off. You all could probably tell us better when something's off in your neighborhood because you live there. You see people who come and go every day. You know who belongs on your block. You know who doesn't belong on your block. You know which cars should be there and which cars seem just a little bit out of place. And so what I'm asking, what we all ask, is when you do see those things that just look a little bit off, that you call the station and ask us to come out there and take a look. Be as descriptive as possible. if without putting yourselves in any danger, try to get a license plate, a color of the vehicle, a make, a model. A license plate is great if you're able to see it. A lot of phones these days have really good zoom. Zoom in with your phone and take a picture, call us and read it off. Without having to go outside, you can get a fair amount of information. And then when you do call us with this information, we'll come out, we'll investigate it, and we'll determine what steps are necessary going forward. Sometimes, maybe it's just a new boyfriend or girlfriend in the neighborhood that you didn't recognize, and that's okay. Sometimes it might be somebody who's out there actually trying to commit some crimes, and those are the ones that we're looking for. Either way, you calling us gives us a very good reason, gives us good standing to go and communicate and talk to these people. And I will say it's important for all of you to know that we will never tell the person we're talking to who called us out there. We're just going to go, we're going to use the information that you give us, we'll talk to them on our own, and we'll keep you guys anonymous. You don't have, we will not tell that person who called or why. Now, if it comes down to that a crime occurred, we may need some additional information from you, but we'll do that as discreetly as possible. We can just call you on the phone, and we'll figure out a way for us to meet and communicate without involving the suspect that is there. So we always will do our very best to keep you safe and anonymous, but there are definitely going to be times where we may need additional information from you. So it is helpful if you give your name and phone number to the dispatcher if and when you do call those types of things in. But once again, I really do think that without the community's help, it's almost impossible for us to do our jobs as efficiently as we could. So please do continue calling the station and noting anything that just looks a little bit suspicious or a little bit off. Some tips that we can get into now for ways to kind of keep you safe. If someone comes to your door, and a lot of the current trends with residential burglaries are they will send out, I guess for lack of a better term, a scout, essentially. So this person will come up to a house that the burglars have decided that they want to break into, and they'll send their guy up. He'll come and he'll knock, or he'll kind of peek around the house and see what he sees. When they knock, they're looking to see whether somebody's home or if this home is empty. So without opening the door, because we would never ask you to open your door to somebody that you don't know or feel comfortable with, but we would ask that you engage with them. Let them know that you see them. Even if you're not home, maybe you have some type of surveillance system, a Ring camera perhaps on your front door that you can activate and talk to them through that. Either way, you're letting this person know you see them, they've been recorded. Tell them that you don't want them there, that they need to leave. Tell them that you've called the police. Whether you have or haven't, that's okay. Just engage with them without opening your door. Let them know you see them, though. That is the important thing. There was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, that exact thing happened. One of the burglars went up to a front door. They knocked. The people home were, I want to say they were between 7 and 12 or 13 years old. There was 3 kids there. They said nothing. They just kind of ignored the person knocking. Well, about a minute later, that person broke into their home, and now they're face to face with the burglar. Thankfully, we were able to get there, and in this particular case, we actually caught both of the suspects. One of them, we caught him right out in front of the house. The second one had run out the back door, had taken off, and our helicopter got overhead very quickly, located them, and kind of guided our patrol deputies in, and we were able to get the second person as well. And that story turned out okay, because the children were unharmed, but obviously traumatized. And it's not necessarily their fault. It's not even the fault of their parents. That is what this meeting is about, though, is providing that level of education where now you all may go home, talk to your children or you take this information home yourselves and explain the importance of just acknowledging the person that's at your front door. Because if they know someone's home, they're just going to go find another house that's empty. It's unfortunate for that house, but definitely better than them breaking into a home where there's an occupant and somebody may potentially get hurt. Also, what they do, if you do open the door, it may be someone who's like, oh, I lost a ball in your backyard. Can you please let me in so I can go grab it? If you don't know this person, don't open your door and let them get the ball. If anything, offer to get the ball yourself, or just tell them to leave. What they'll do oftentimes is they'll have a second or third or fourth person waiting around the corner, maybe by your garage. As soon as you open your front door to talk to them, those three people come barging in. And that's also obviously something we want to avoid. So it's definitely imperative that you do not open your doors for people that you don't recognize, and pass that along to family, friends, children. If it's, say, maybe an Edison guy, call Edison. If they're insistent, call us. If it's really the Edison guy, we can verify that for you. It is not a big deal. That is one of our many responsibilities. We're out here to help you all feel safe. And if that means you don't feel comfortable talking to the Edison guy, I'll do it for you. I don't mind. None of my partners mind. So just verify it, though, before you guys do anything, because unfortunately, those types of things are occurring throughout the greater LA area. It's not really just the San Gabriel Valley. That's happening everywhere. Try not to keep large amounts of cash at home if you can avoid it. It says jewelry too. I understand that's a lot more difficult. People like to dress up nice, people go out, people have wedding rings and things like that. But if you can, get a good safe. Get a nice quality safe. Put it in your home somewhere that's out of the way, that's not easy for someone who's quickly rifling through your things potentially to find. And make sure you bolt it down to the floor. There's kind of no point to having a really expensive safe if I can just pick it up and walk out the door with it. No matter how good a safe it is, eventually, given enough time, I'm going to open it. But I definitely will not take 15 or 20 minutes to try to open it at your home, and I'm probably not going to take the 5 or 10 minutes it's going to take to unbolt it from the floor. Most of your burglars are coming in and getting out within a minute, 2 minutes maybe. They're not spending a lot of time in your home. They're going in, they're going straight to where most people typically keep cash, jewelry, or valuables. They're grabbing the small, little, easily concealable items, and they're out the door. You put a quality safe that's bolted down, most of the time, your stuff will be safe inside of it. That includes firearms. Please lock up your firearms if you own it. For your safety, for your children's safety, and so the burglar doesn't steal them. Leaving, yes ma'am.
Is it a myth or okay if you have a large dog or a large animal? Does that help?
It can, yeah. If you're going to get an animal, just make sure you're capable of taking care of it. You don't need more strays or animals that are not being well taken care of. But yes, animals, dogs specifically, can be a deterrent. But just, if you're getting a large dog, it requires a lot of care. So just know that going into it. Blinds, garage doors, any type of window, try your best to keep those closed. I know in the summertime it's difficult because it's hot. Get a nice evening summer breeze going through. Everybody wants to cool their home down. That's fine. Just understand, though, that as these burglars are driving through the city, they do their homework. They're out there scouting for the houses. And leaving your windows open, your doors open, whether it's your garage door, your front door, basically giving the burglar sort of a little mini preview of what's in your home. So let's say you have very expensive cars in your garage, or nice bikes, or a large safe, they would probably venture a guess that there are other nice items in your home. Or maybe they're driving through, your windows open, and they see an expensive china cabinet. Probably would lead that person to believe there are other expensive items in the home. So it's a personal choice for everybody. Just understand the consequences potentially of leaving your doors and windows open is essentially giving a preview to your home, and obviously we want to try to avoid that. You don't want to make yourself or your home a target, and giving a preview to all your nice valuables is a good way to do that. Sure.
Sometimes the burglars, they will carry food, they feed the dog.
Yeah, I mean, there's no perfect solution. There's no perfect answer. Everything we're going over in this presentation are just mitigating factors. You could do every single thing that I tell you to do tonight and still become a victim. At the end of the day, if a burglar or a criminal in general wants to commit the crime or get into your home, they're just gonna. Sometimes, no matter what you do, sometimes the crime just happens. And as unfortunate as that is, the goal of this presentation is to limit how often that happens to you, right? Because the other people in this city, they're not here, they're not getting these tips. Maybe they'll leave their garage door open, and that's unfortunate for them, but you may not. Burglar's going to go to the easiest home that they can. They don't want to get caught. So the more things you do to prevent crime, the better off you'll be, but sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it. And unfortunately, that's just the reality of it. Social media, that's something most of us or all of us probably have. Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Nothing wrong with it per se. I have social media. Just do your very best not to put your entire life on social media, especially when you go on vacation. Because if you put out there that you're gone, that's telling everybody that no one's at this house. There's no way you're coming back from Hawaii to check on your home in any reasonable amount of time. You may think you know all of your friends on social media, but do you know your friends' friends? Social media these days basically gives everybody who's connected to you or your friends all of your information. It says, hey, why don't you be friends with this person or that person? If you're going to post, at a bare minimum, make your profile private and then be picky about who you allow onto your profile. But I would suggest that still post. There's nothing wrong with posting. Just do it when you get back so that you're home and you can monitor any of the activity that maybe they don't know you're home. They think you're gone, and all of a sudden they show up to burglarize your home, and the lights are on, people are in the front yard, and they're just going to move on. Versus you posting it while you're gone, and they come to a dark, empty home, and when you come back, you see your house has been ransacked. So post away, just do it responsibly, I guess, is the easiest way to put that. Different methods to kind of protect yourself. As said earlier, burglars don't want to get caught. They don't want to be seen, and lighting is definitely a way to kind of make everything visible in certain parts, wherever you choose to put lighting. Any type of lighting is better than no lighting, but I would encourage you to put motion style lighting. The reason for that is if you have lights on constantly all the time, you kind of become numb to the light, right? It's just there, it's just on. Nothing to draw your attention to it for any reason. However, if you use motion lighting, when that light turns on, it's turned on for a reason. There's something, whether it's a cat, a dog, or a person, something caused that light to click on. And that will draw your attention, or should draw your attention. So that's why I encourage motion lighting, but any lighting is better than no lighting. Surveillance cameras, also very helpful. Pick a brand. As long as you understand how to use the system you're putting in, it doesn't matter what system you choose to use. But it is important that you know how to work your system. No sense in putting a $10,000 system in your home if you can't figure out how to capture video or how to show me the video when I may need footage for one reason or another. Maybe you weren't the victim, but your surveillance system caught something that would help that victim. Or maybe you are the victim and you want to be able to provide us with as much information as quickly as possible so that we can start working on your case. So surveillance cameras are very helpful. Just understand how to use the system that you choose to put in. Window film kind of works like, I guess like tape over your glass. Basically, the purpose of the window film is to make it a little bit more difficult for a burglar to break in. Typically, the window films will still, like your glass could still break, but it may not break on the first hit or second hit. And every time they hit your glass, they're making a loud noise. And if they have to break or hit your glass 2, 3, 4 times before it actually cracks, that's 2, 3, or 4 times for you to potentially hear what's going on and do something about it. For you to hear that noise coming from your neighbor's house and potentially do something about it. And really, again, as we said, if they want to get in, they're going to get in. But all of these things, especially the window film, just gives those extra few seconds for you either to react or to call 911, and it allows us those extra few seconds to potentially get there and catch them. One call, I think it was last year, we got the call, we showed up. As we're turning the corner, we get flagged down by the victim. We missed the suspects out front by about 3 seconds. They had taken off and they were gone. Never caught them. But had there been something that slowed them down just 3 seconds, there was a fair chance we would have caught them right out front. So, point is, every second literally does matter. It may not seem like a lot to you guys, but it really does matter for us, because when we're responding with our lights and our sirens, we can get most places in this city within 2 or 3 minutes if we really had to. And for something like that, we're going to do everything we can to get these types of calls as quickly and safely as we can. So literally every second does matter. Window locks. Those would be kind of like your little wooden dowels that you would put in the bottom frame of the window, or the little metal alligator clip. They have kind of like a screw, and it screws against the frame. You would want to put that right up against the window where it slides open, so that when someone from the outside is trying to open your window, it runs into either the dowel and doesn't move, or that little metal alligator clip. All of which can be bought very cheaply for pennies, less than $1 for your wooden dowels typically. And the little alligator clips, you could buy like a pack of 6 for probably less than $3 or $4 at Target. Door and window sensors. I don't know if every alarm company uses them. I'm not necessarily advocating for Ring, but I use it, and I have door and window sensors. Basically what those are is 2 pieces of, they have like an adhesive on the back, and it's 2 little pieces. They kind of look like this. They can then, when one opens, it separates, and the signal that's crossing between them gets disconnected, and it sends a notification to, for me, it sends it to my phone. If you have like a professional monitoring system, it would potentially send it to you and to them. Window sensors, I know again, for Ring, I can label each one so I know when my garage door opens. I know when my front door, my back door, the upstairs window, the downstairs window, and I know which door or window is opening. And obviously if no one's home, You would know if your garage door is opening, somebody's probably there. Another good spot to put these types of sensors is on your outside electrical box panel. A lot of times lately the trends have been that they're shutting off the power, which obviously will neutralize most people's surveillance systems. But before they're able to shut that power off, they're going to open your electric box. That sensor's going to trigger, and you'll get a notification. So even if you don't have any surveillance footage of the incident, there is zero reason for anyone to open your electrical box. Zero reason. So you know that something is happening at your home, and then you can call 911 if you're in Temple City, or let's say you're working in downtown LA, then you would call the station on the business line. It's a good number to put in your phone. That's in your packets as well. And you would just start calling us and telling us, hey, this is what's happening at my house. Please send deputies out there. And we will. Professional alarm system, we kind of went over alarms already. That's a personal choice if you want to monitor it yourself for Ring, or you want to pay someone to monitor it for you.
And turn the alarm on.
That too.
So many people don't turn them on.
Very true. Kind of goes to what we said earlier. You know, it's about your surveillance cameras. You don't know how to work your system. What's the point? So yes, same concept. If you're going to spend the money on this, use it. Turn it on. Set it to away or disarmed when you're home, or whatever the settings are for your camera and surveillance systems. That's a good point. Zillow, Redfin, any of those types of sites, you as a homeowner have the option to contact them through their customer service and ask them to remove the photos from your home. Why would you want to do that? Again, we're talking maybe a few seconds here or there, but the burglars do their homework. If they decide your house is the one that they want to break into, a quick Zillow search will show me probably the entire layout of your home. Now I know exactly where your rooms are. I know exactly where I need to break in. Rather than maybe breaking into the front left window, I know exactly which window to break into for the master bedroom directly. So removing the photos from those types of websites is pretty simple. Just send a message to the customer service. They'll have a back and forth with you to determine that you're the homeowner, and then they'll take your photos down. And it's free. And then the last thing, this is something that our station does. If you're gone, if you know you're going to be gone on vacation, any amount of time is fine, but typically 3-4 days or more, you're welcome to call the station. It's a free service. Tell them that you will be gone for the 1st through the 3rd, or whatever the days you're gone. They'll get some basic info from you, your address, how long you're going to be gone, who should be at the home, if anyone, maybe house cleaners or dog walkers, things like that. Any cars that you're going to leave parked in the driveway, gardeners, pool guy, whatever. They'll get all that info from you. Then they'll let us know, they'll let the patrol guys know, and we'll do patrol checks of your property. Again, that's a free service that county, just any station, it does. So if any of you don't live in the city, any sheriff's department station will offer that type of service. So pass it on to your family or friends who may live in other areas serviced by our department. But all you got to do is just request for home checks, and we will go out there and do it. Fifth, for some unfortunate reason, you do become a victim. It is helpful to have an inventory of the valuables in your home, specifically and most importantly, anything serialized, whether it's TVs, although those are not really stolen as much anymore these days, but nevertheless, helpful to have. Firearms, especially, important to have serial numbers, make, model, color, anything pertinent about your gun. Anything really that's serialized for insurance purposes, it helps the adjuster kind of move your claim along quicker. And before it gets to insurance, it helps us because now, once we have that serial number, we can put it in a national database. And so wherever that suspect may try to offload your serialized property, if it's a pawn shop and it's a reputable one, they're supposed to run all the serial numbers for anything stolen. Or let's say we conducted a traffic stop on a random car. we found a bunch of stuff in the car, it doesn't look like it belongs to them. If we run those serial numbers in our computers, it will show as stolen. So it is helpful, and it can potentially get you your things back down the road. And as far as I know, it never leaves that system once it's stolen until it's recovered. So once it's in, it's in. So it could be years down the road, somebody finally finds your things and you get them back. Important numbers to have, again, 911, the 911 system will only work if you live in Temple City and you call from Temple City, it will ping to Temple City. If you live in Temple City but you call from downtown LA, then it will ping to the nearest cell tower in LA and you'll get that department. So 911 is useful when you're in the city and an emergency is happening to you in the city or any city. Let's say you're in Arcadia and you need 911, you need Arcadia. It will work identically there as it does here. However, let's say you are in LA and something is occurring at your home, put the station's phone number in your phone, have it on speed dial, and that way it's much faster for you to call us directly if something does happen. And while I'm on that note, if something does occur, let's say you're home or you see a crime occurring, please call us first. Please don't call everyone on your contact list to figure out where they're at. If one of your family members came home early and you didn't know it, we'll find that out for you when we get there first, hopefully. So please call us before you call your family members. If it's a crime that's occurring, you want a police response as quickly as possible. If it was a mistake and you called and you didn't know someone was home, that's okay. You will not get in trouble. But if it was an actual crime, getting us there faster is much more likely for us to prevent the crime, catch them, and get you your things back.
Before Deputy Chana goes, I know he's on city, but he's been a Temple City SAO for approximately about 2 years now, and this is going to be his last neighborhood watch. So congratulations on your last one. But Deputy Chana is now going to be promoting to a sergeant. So congratulations, Deputy Chana.
Thank you. It's been fun. I've enjoyed all of you. Thank you for listening to me ramble.
Thank you very much, Deputy Anchando. So one of the things that we want to make sure that we're sharing with everybody is how to stay informed, how to know what's happening around you, where can you go to get more information about activity in your neighborhood. So there's a couple ways to do that. Deputy Anchando mentioned the crime blotter. So if you haven't already subscribed, you can go to the website here, which you guys all have in your packets, and subscribe, and you will get that information directly. Or you can register via Nixle, and you can get that as well. So the crime blotter is just an update of weekly activity that happens, and it just breaks down the types of crimes that have happened within certain areas. If you're a more visual person like myself, you can use crime mapping. You can go to the website here, crimemapping.org. And the nice thing about crime mapping, you can put your address in, and it'll tell you everything that's happening around you. And I say that just as a cautionary tale because it'll show you everything that's happening around you. So some of that can look a little scary depending on how you're searching. But it's good to know, to have that idea of the type of activity. It'll tell you whether there's been burglaries, whether there's been robberies, whether there's been vandalisms, all around your area. You can tailor your search based on how far back you want to go, or make it very specific to, let's say, the week or the month around you. But crimemapping.org, you can do that there. So we've all had an experience where we've seen something kind of suspicious or something that just does not sit right, and it's kind of, maybe it's an ongoing kind of a thing where a neighbor up the street constantly has cars coming at all hours at the night, or there are always some weird people hanging out at a certain house, and you think that that's kind of fishy, but you don't know what the best way to do that, to kind of report it. You can actually contact Crime Stoppers, and you can report information anonymously. And you can just kind of give a really brief description of what's going on in that area. And that information gets sent to deputies at Temple Station who review all the requests from Crime Stoppers for them to actually engage and investigate further based on what was reported. Now, I got to say this just so that you guys know. When you report something on Crime Stoppers, you may not be aware that somebody's out there actually investigating or doing something, because they try to do that as covertly as possible. They try to stay undercover, to stay out of sight, to really kind of get an idea of the activity that you're reporting. So things are happening even though you might not be aware that they're happening, but it's a great way for you to kind of draw some attention to some activity that might be going on in your neighborhood. And then the request tracker. So the request tracker is something that's actually handled through the city. That's a city resource that's available to everyone. And it kind of helps in addressing crime by reporting situations in your neighborhood. So if let's say you live on the street and your street light's out. Well, if you live on a dark street, that could be a bad thing, because that can attract certain type of element into your area that you really don't want there. But if we need to get that street light fixed, you can use the request tracker to report that light's broken, and our public works crew will go out there and fix that light. Same thing, let's say somebody took down a stop sign or took down a street sweeping sign. All that signage is out there. It's helpful. It kind of pushes people away from certain areas. But if we don't know that it's missing, then it makes it harder for us to go out there and fix it. But this is an opportunity for you guys to go out and address those kind of things. Yes, ma'am.
We have great big mailboxes in front, and they got graffiti, and the city came out and repainted them.
Exactly, that kind of thing. Graffiti is a great thing to report via the request tracker. Deputy Bowie was mentioning earlier the broken window theory. If something is broken or damaged and we don't fix it, it's just going to attract a negative element. So we want to try to take care of that as quickly as possible. Yes, ma'am.
Before you move on to the next slide, I just want to let everybody know there are other two websites where you can access the crime blotter. Unfortunately, the team is experiencing some technical difficulties with pushing out Nixle alerts. So you can either go to the city's website, or you can go to TempleCityPhotos.com to access the most recent crime blotters.
Exactly. All right. So we're going to move on. We're going to talk about natural disasters, emergencies. So, right now we are on a bit of an alert. We have high winds alerts going on right now. We have high heat advisories that's happening in the communities. So it's very important to making sure that we're taking this time to kind of reflect and see what do we need in the event of an emergency. So we're going to talk about some of the things that you guys can do to help be prepared. So it's important to be prepared. It's important to have a plan, keep supplies, and address potential hazards that you might encounter. So one of the things, having a plan. Do you know what you're going to do in the event of an emergency? If there's a fire in your house, do you know what the best way to get out of your house? If you're in a bedroom versus the kitchen versus the garage, how do you get out? Do you have a plan where you discuss that with your family so that everybody knows how to get out and where to meet? Those are things that you need to take into consideration in developing a plan. A phone tree. How many of you guys have a phone tree where if you guys are separated for any given reason, who are you going to call? Do you have a family member or a loved one that's maybe outside of this area that you can use as a relay point to contact them, so that way they know that, hey, everyone's checking in, everyone's okay. So those are kind of plans that you can use to develop and help strategize the best way to stay safe in the event of an emergency. Keeping supplies, right? We never know where an emergency is going to strike. You never know what you might need. So we definitely recommend having supplies available at home, at work, in your car. And, I don't expect everybody to drive around with big old buses with all this stuff in there, but you have to evaluate and keep things as effective as you can for you. So think about some essential tools that you might need in order to have available in the event of an emergency. understanding the hazards, hazard mitigation. So we never thought in January that we were going to be struck with this massive windstorm the way we were. A lot of people really didn't anticipate that kind of an event to become as dangerous as it was. As I said, right now we're going through a heat advisory. You know, heat stroke is a real thing, so we have to make sure that we're aware of the types of threats that are around us and how to prepare for them. You know, how many of you have a couple of ice packs just kind of sitting in the freezer right now? You know, exactly. But if it's hot enough and you don't have air conditioning at home and you need to cool off, go grab that ice pack. It's going to help you, you know, during this kind of situation. So understanding the threats that you might encounter is important, and trying to do your best to prepare for them as you can. Getting trained. So how many of you guys out there are first aid and CPR trained? Anyone? I see like 2 hands. First aid, CPR, 3. Okay, awesome. If you're not, it's a great resource to have. You know, you never know. Getting first aid CPR trained or getting CERT trained. How many of you guys know what CERT is? Have you guys heard of CERT before? All right, a handful of you guys. CERT is our Community Emergency Response Team. So you can go through a course. It's free. It teaches you a variety of just emergency preparedness techniques and tips and drills that you can use for yourself in your home, or make you a more active participant within your neighborhood. So there's a lot of resources that are out there that are available to you in order to help better prepare in the event of an emergency. So let's talk about supply kits. Again, never know where, so you want to have, you know, at least 3 kits, one at home, one at work, one in your car. So how much supplies do you need? That's always the big question. How much do I need in order to kind of be safe? The rule of thumb is going to be generally 3 days worth of supplies per person, but really I'm going to steer you guys down here at least 10 to 14 days worth of food and water at home. And I say at home because I don't expect everybody walking around with a water truck in the back of their, you know. So it takes a lot, and it can become overwhelming when you're talking about gathering all these supplies. But if you develop a system, you know, in order to turn things over, therefore things aren't just sitting there and going to waste, because that's the hardest thing about the biggest complaint that people have when building a supply kit is that I'm buying all this stuff and it's just sitting in my garage or sitting in my shed, and it's all just expiring, and I have to now throw it away, and then, oh my gosh, I got to go and rebuy all this stuff again. But if you develop a system where you cycle through the items that you have in your supply kit, it keeps everything fresh and it keeps everything just going through. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to let you know, I was an active firefighter,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a meeting. I had my earthquake kit with all my policies in it,
Great point.
and so I didn't have to look for it, and I always have flashlights in my car, but that saved us as we took the earthquake kit and threw it in the car.
That's a great point. You need to know, but you need to know what information that you need to have available, right? So you thought ahead to say, this is important stuff that I need to take with me. Let's grab it and let's go. So when it comes to water, the rule of thumb is 1 gallon of water per person per day. Again, that can stack up really quickly. Food, again, 3-day supply per person. When it comes to food, it's, you know, they sell kits like this, or I don't know if you guys have ever seen the MREs, the meal ration bars, or these protein bars. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a big food guy, and if it came to this, or this is what I have left, I mean, it's pretty much the end of the road, because that's really the last straw before, you know, it gets there. I highly encourage that when you're building your food kits, think about things that you like, things that are going to last long, but it's things that you would actually enjoy to eat. And think about what you need, because if you have a certain dietary restrictions, you know, I'm lactose intolerant. I'm not going to have a stockpile of just ice cream in my supply kit because that's not going to go good for anybody. So think about what you need and how it's going to benefit you in the event of an emergency. Supply items, you know, in an emergency, you're going to need tools. You're going to have those resources available to you because you don't know what you're going to have to be doing. Tents, rope, tape, money. It's important to have. In this whole section, in terms of tools, I would also include, as the lady said, your important documents. Or at least have that available, whether it's actual physical documents, or if you're digital and you have everything on a laptop or everything on maybe on a thumb drive or a hard drive. That's another way to go, where it's a little bit more compact. But again, you have to think ahead, because if you're running out and your laptop's dead and you can't access that, then you know you're going to have issues.
The first thing we said was, before anything else, aside from your phone, we said, here's phone chargers.
Yes.
Absolutely correct.
Right. And those are going to be those utility items that you need.
And medications.
Yes, medications is another important one. So because those are things that are going to keep you functional. So you have to think in that sense of how you're going to keep going during the emergencies. So again, going back, how do you stay informed? If you guys haven't already, you can send a text message to 888-777. That's Temple City's alert system. It works through our Nixle servers, and we send out notifications regarding emergencies, updates, you know, just whatever's kind of happening in the city. You can stay connected that way. Resources. So if you want to kind of do a deeper dive than just the little talk that I gave you guys, this information is also in your packets, but please check out these websites. I really like ready.gov. They go through so many different types of kits and how to walk you through the development of an emergency kit. They really think out of the box, so they did a really good job at ready.gov. But any of these websites will have good resources, good information to kind of help guide you through this process. Like I said, it can definitely be overwhelming. Take it one day at a time, step by step, and you guys will get there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Deputy Bowie. I'm going to kick into the next step.
Again, thank you everyone for coming. My name is Deputy Bowie. My portion is going to be on vehicle burglaries. This is one of the crimes that happen in our city. It's usually residential burgs and vehicle burglary. That's one of the main things that we have in the city that happens almost pretty much every year, are one of our high ones. So vehicle burglary is anything that is in your car that they broke in your window, that had to get in. They forced their way into your home, into your vehicle. That's what is considered a vehicle burglary. If you have left your door open and they opened the door, got into your car, and stole your property, that would be actually a petty theft or a grand theft, depending on the value of the money value of the property that was taken. So that's to differentiate from a vehicle burglary to a petty theft or a grand theft crime. So as you can see, vehicle burglaries has two elements. Forced entry, which I said had to be forced in. They pried the door open, they popped the door lock, they broke the window. That's where it comes into the felony part, where it's a felony crime. If it was a petty theft, it would be a misdemeanor. Grand theft would make it the felony, but it's a grand theft. It's property. It's not as high as a vehicle burglary. And that's what involves to make it the crime for burglary. This is going to be a short video of how fast this is. This crime, again, all these crimes are crime of opportunity. Don't give these suspects, these criminals, the opportunity. It is your beneficial to not be the victim. Don't give them the opportunity. Anything you leave in your vehicle is a chance for them to break into your car and take it. It may be a mug, it could be a purse, it could be a backpack, it could be bags of toys, it could be a diaper bag, it could be a sports bag just with your baseball gloves or anything else like that. Anything you leave for them to see from your vehicle, inside the windows, is a potential time that you're going to be a victim. These criminals don't target aren't Target Pacific. They just walk by inside the mall parking lot and just look into your car. It'd be someone normal that you would not think that they were anyone, just someone walking down a parking lot, looking into cars, just driving by, which any one of you can do as well. I encourage, but don't be doing this so that people call on you guys, looking into windows, opening the door handles to see if they're unlocked or locked, which these criminals do. They know. But walk down the parking lot and just look into a car. You will see someone's jacket covering something. It's only obvious. Criminals know. Do you think they don't know that you just covered something with a jacket or anything where it's a different bulge, a different shape? These criminals do know. They are paying attention to you every time you go. You could be driving a car, parking it anywhere. We'll just say anywhere. Ladies, each one of you ladies pretty much has a purse or kind of a handbag or anything, a tote bag. The criminal's just driving around in the parking lot. Hey, this lady has a nice car, they have nice stuff, looks like they're nice. You know what? She just walked out with nothing. She has nothing in her hands. She has nothing. Just a little hand purse. But usually, as women, you always have a bigger purse with that little wallet bag, right? So these criminals just say, guess what? That lady just left out of that car. She doesn't really have anything except for her phone in her hand. Guess where her purse might be? In the car. And they're driving around. Don't forget, it's not, you can say it's Target Pacific, but they're just driving around for the crime of opportunity. And you gave them the opportunity to think about you just a little harder than they normally would. And then when you go inside the store, guess what happened? They just broke your window and took whatever you had in your car. It could be your jacket, it could be anything. And these criminals don't care what is inside. They're going to play the lottery. They're going to break into your car, and in their bag can be your lunch. That's all it could be, your lunch pail. But guess what you leave in your lunch pail? A set of keys to your house. It could be a set of your garage door opener. It could be anything valuable. Men, a lot of men these days, remember your wallet. Guys, we leave our wallets in there. Because what? It's bulky in our pockets. We don't want it, so we put it in our lunch pail and everything else, right? Anything can be valuable to them. And then you're going to be the victim of crime. This is why this is just educational for everyone to know, because I'm pretty sure each one of us has done it. Don't become the victim that you can become a victim. If you have your car with nothing inside the car that they can see, I've never seen a car get broken into that hasn't had anything stolen before. If you have nothing inside, they're just going to walk away. Be that one person. When you park your car at your home, in your driveway, you think it's safe. It is not safe. You remember when we all grew up at one time and says, hey, if the street lights are on and people are still outside, those people are kind of shouldn't be outside doing crime. That's what they're doing. They're just out there looking for crime to do. 2 o'clock in the morning, someone walking down the street isn't really taking a good walk. You know your neighbors. So don't leave anything in your vehicle. So this is going to be a quick little video of things that are happening.
This is how crooks used to get into your car. But sometimes they have a much easier time of it. They just look for vehicles left unlocked. This guy finds an unlocked car right in the driveway. Nothing inside worth stealing, but then he grabs the electronic garage door opener, giving him easy access to the house. And there he goes with 2 bikes. And sometimes even the police forget to lock up. This guy got into an unlocked cruiser and gets away with a rifle. He was later caught.
I lock my car everywhere.
To find out how bad the problem is, I spent a day with the Mount Pleasant Police Department in New York State, along with Inside Edition security consultant Steve Cardian. First stop, a shopping center. And look what we found. Door after door left unlocked.
Another unlocked car.
Easy pickings for any thief.
What size shoe do you wear? Wait a minute, I see some sunglasses in there. Is that a glass case?
Yeah, that's my wife's glasses.
Oh, your wife's glasses.
Yep.
How do they look?
They look marvelous.
All right, goodbye.
They all say the same thing. I was only in the store for 5 minutes.
That's the common answer we get. And it's more of an embarrassment that they have let something so simple possibly ruin their day.
You could look inside on the seat. There's a wallet.
What?
Looks like car keys to this car.
Oh my God. If you're a criminal, you've hit the jackpot here.
But what this woman left in an unlocked running car while she was shopping was priceless. Her young child.
I'd like to know why you would leave this car unlocked and you have a child in your car, ma'am.
Come in here, feel the car. Is it high?
It's unlocked. Somebody could take your child. Aren't you worried about that?
Bottom line, just press the lock button.
Can you do me a personal favor?
You
Just
want me to
lock
do-
your car up.
I will be happy to lock my car
Thank
up.
you. Thank you.
That's how quick it is. And guess what? In 30 seconds, how quick that was, did anybody see anything? No one's gonna see anything, and it's gonna be a crime that pretty much, I'm sorry to say, it's hard to solve. Because who did it? I don't know. We look at cameras, there's nothing. No one has cameras, your alarm didn't go off. That's how bad it is. And again, remember, all these cars the windows were shattered, right? It's not the alarms like we had in the 80s and 90s where, you know, anybody walk by, you shake the car, the alarm will go off. These new alarm systems for these cars aren't shatterproof. Unless they open, when you set your alarm, you shatter the window, the alarm will not go off. Yes, you have to buy a special feature for that one. Unless the door is open, that's the only time that the alarm will actually go off. These criminals know that. That's why they won't open the door. They'll crawl in and grab whatever they have to do. They're not going to open the door because the alarm will go off. Again, some people don't even care anymore. They, you know, we all walk by, alarm's going off. No, it's just another alarm going off. But if you do have that person that will actually pay attention and be noticed, that's how we solve crimes, because that person is going to call and say, hey, I saw this person wearing this, they jumped into this car and went that way. Or at least even get a photo or a video of a license plate to the car. Those are the things that we can do to help solve these crimes. If you give me information that, hey, I don't know what happened, I went into the store, I was gone for 5 minutes, I came out, so I brought my car and took this stuff. That's all we have going on for us. So that's why it makes it very difficult for us to try to solve these crimes. And then you're going to come to me and go, well, you haven't solved my crime yet? I just had $10,000 in my car. I just went to the bank, I left all the money inside the glove box. Like, hey, who does that? But it does happen. These are things that have happened that I've taken reports for. Don't be that person. If it's important, put it away, take it home, and go do your errands later. So that's my key for this. Sir, you had a question?
Yeah, one thing's been disturbing me is that you get many break-ins. Most cars now have garage door openers on their mirror and all that. I mean, they can smash the window, hit the button, open the garage, and do what they want. Do you get many break-in types like that? Or?
No, sir, because usually once they break a window, they're really not trying to get into the house because that means someone's home. They don't want people knowing that they're home. That's why we actually say if you see something, you acknowledge it. Once you acknowledge it, they see that you see them, they're gone. Because they don't want to be seen, because guess what? You can ID them. They don't want that. Because you just gave me information of, hey, they came in, I see this person wearing this or that, he went in this car that we drove away, and while you're calling 911, you're giving us a description of the car, because when I'm coming in, I may see that car coming the same way I am, and that gives me a reason to turn around and stop this car. Because if you don't give me a vehicle, I'm just driving right by this person, and I just drove right by the person that stole your stuff and let him go. Because you didn't give me the information that we need to stop these cars. Because we're coming into a situation that we don't know anything about. All you said was, hey, they broke into my car and they left. Okay. And that's why our dispatchers are pretty good. They'll ask for more information. Hey, what did they wear? Or did you see what car they were in? And it updates us. But the faster you can give us that information, the faster we get updated. Because it's not immediate. Not like you say, hey, you're telling the dispatcher something. It's not getting relayed to us seconds. They actually have to type it out and send it to us as well. So that is another 3 to 5 to 10 seconds. So the more information we get, the faster we can try to get these guys while we're coming into it as well.
It's like the video show. They open up the door and got the garage door opener, but our car's an automatic garage door opener now.
Yes. See, that's the technology has not really benefited crime. We're always slower.
Yeah.
Like you see, these garage door openers in these cars, as you can see, it's great, but it doesn't help you as a victim. But usually we don't see that too often. So they're mostly they're gonna try to check if the house is empty first. So
Thinking if I want to disconnect that or not sometimes.
yes, and then see that's a preference of personal choice.
Yeah.
So look at these photos are what I've taken in the city, just going through the parking lot. These are not random pictures. These are actually something that happened in the city as well when I took this part. Well, again, with my part, remove all your stuff out of the car. I know how busy we are in our busy lives and everything else. You got school now, everyone's back at school. You have your kid's backpack, hey, we'll just leave it in overnight, or we'll just leave it here real quick. That's when something's gonna happen. Yes, sir? I'm not sure about that one. Every car has a different way of the door locks and everything else. So I can't tell you one from the other, but always lock your door. I know all these cars, all new cars these days have that little key fob where you just have to hit it that quick. But we are so busy, we forget. And then that's why we kind of encourage, however busy you are, even though it's right in front of your driveway, in the lock gate, behind the driveway, still have to remember it's not safe. We would wish we were in a world that it would be safe that way, but the times right now, these guys are just criminals that just want everything they can, anything they can get their hands on, and how simple it is. So don't make it easy for them. Again, remove all your stuff out of your vehicle, lock your cars, set the alarm. Just like you said, we all have our phones set alarms at home. It's all that simple, how quick we can set it. Everything is digital on our phone. Don't leave property in plain sight, which anything they're going to take. It may have no value to you, but to them, it might be something that they might have. And it's a day that you forget, and it's going to be your valuables. Your cameras, your computers, your work computers, your cell phones, they're going to take all that. Don't try to hide it, cover it. These criminals know. They're criminals. They do this for a living. It's not their first time. It's not their second time. If we catch them, oh, this is my first time. Now, they've been doing this for a while. Be aware of your surroundings. Again, when you leave anywhere, people are watching you. Don't leave your engine on to go drop off, park in front of Starbucks, go in and grab your Starbucks and run out. Cars will get stolen. Property will get stolen. Leave your engine on, leave your purse. They see you in and out. Again, that's how quick it is, 30 seconds. Less than 30 seconds. Park your car in a secure area. Again, secure area, the best secure area you have is your garage. But how many of us park their cars in a garage? Pretty much you have all your boxes, all your junk in your car, right? So who uses their garage anymore, right? But again, that's just preference of choice. But if you don't want to become a victim of vehicle burglary, don't have anything for them to see. Yes, sir?
You know, in the video they showed the guys going over to each car trying to see if the doors were unlocked.
Yes.
I saw a great little clip on TV where one of the news shows was talking about how some of the cities are able to invest in drones now. So they were flying a drone over certain areas like, department stores, parking lots and things like that. And they would watch for guys doing that. And they would usually start falling. And I know you guys are at the first in the city is now money goes into technology and stuff. Are you guys looking into things like the drones?
Drones for LA County Sheriff's Department, the only people that can fly drones are our special forces. Our SCB is like our SWAT team. Drones, again, every city, every state has different laws and regulations because people's privacy, they complain about privacy and stuff like that. That's the issue that, like I believe it's in Korea where they have cameras everywhere. But we're in the United States, we have different rules, different laws. People may complain, hey, you're taking away my privacy, and stuff like that. So that's why we can't drive drones. Anyways, one thing with the drones, we have an issue because we have the airport right next to us. So that makes it a real difficult thing. Everyone says, yeah, drones are easy. Throw it up. But again, you have to get the training. And remember, everyone, like, for example, We have our sergeant, Deputy Chano, which is promoting. If we had trained him, he's going to promote. Guess what? He's gone, and all that training has to be trained to someone else. And if they're available that time, it's just very difficult. It's nice, but it's very difficult. There's a lot of red tape for everything. Okay, that was the end of the vehicle breaks. Now I'm going to go to pedestrian awareness traffic, which again, school started. Parents, if you're all parents, everyone always runs late to school these days. You're driving a little faster, you're trying to get your kids to school so they're not tardy. Be very careful. We actually have, well, one of the main concerns right now is e-bikes, which one of the slides are going to be about e-bikes. E-bikes, parents, know what your kids have. You're purchasing it for your kids. Know the laws for your e-bikes. E-bikes are very, very dangerous lately, but I'll get into that. Distracted driving. All of us are busy running around, kids, school, everything else, and this relates to all our stuff that we've gone through right now. Talking on your cell phone, which nobody does, right? Because it's against the law, right? No one does that anymore, right? Sorry, joke, but we all do. It's just a joke, but we do it. We're eating while we're driving. Young ladies, we're running late, makeup at the same time, which we all see. Using our GPS, oops, I went the wrong way, trying to correct it. Those things are very, very dangerous. Because you don't know, imagine, I forget the calculation, but I'll get the calculation down for you. If you're going about 25 miles an hour, and you look down for about 2 to 3 seconds, you've got about 50 feet, 50 to 60 feet in 2 to 3 seconds at 25 miles an hour. So that's how distracted you are at 25 miles. You've gone almost 6 car lengths, and what could you be seen or what you've done? Yes, ma'am.
I've been having a lot of trouble recently with bicycles.
Yes.
And they don't stay in their lane, and they make it really difficult sometimes. And you can't get around them, and they don't care. What are the rules and regulations for bicycles?
Bicycles are just like vehicles. They are considered motor vehicles on the roadway. Not motor vehicles, but vehicles on the road. They have to adhere to all vehicle code violations. They have to stop at stop signs, which we all see them do, right? E-bikes are the same way. They're supposed to stay in the lane, but they're supposed to go with the line of travel. Again, education. Again, we can't make everyone do what they have to do. They're just stubborn. They see a car, guess what? They're still taking the whole roadway, right? And that's what happens. Road rage. Don't be a victim of road rage because over that. You know what? It's going to take you some time, but let them be because you rather not one. Which, if they're at fault, the bicyclists can be at fault for vehicle accidents, okay? If they cause the accident, they are actually at fault and liable. So don't forget, they are liable as well. So we can charge them for being the cause of the accident. It doesn't have to be the vehicle, but don't be that one with the road rage and try to move them out of the way, they crash, and then it's all a big ordeal. Just be patient. It's not worth it. Again, road rage isn't worth it. They are a nuisance, those people, but not everyone is that way. That's what we get with this distracted driving, especially now people, oh yes. California, she's talking about motorcycles lane splitting. Again, it is illegal and it's not. It just depends on how dangerous and reckless they do it. Because of California law, they can't do that because California is a lot hotter. The reason why they lane split is because they can overheat if they sit in one spot too long. So they do, but they have to do it safely. That's the only difference. It's a very unique, it's what we call wobbler, where it's kind of that yes and no. It just has to be safe. So that's the difference with the motorcyclist. Ma'am, it's that wobbler where it is okay and it's not okay. We see it all the time, but it's technically legal unless it's unsafe, if we can consider it unsafe. Again, we have to see it as unsafe, but as you can see as a motorcyclist, if they're already lane splitting, if I see it, how far they can get before I can even get up to them? That's the difficult part about it. And I guess, I know we wish, man, where's that police officer when we need him, right? They're never doing it when we're around, of course, because, right? When everyone sees a police car around, everyone has their little angel hat on, right? So everyone behaves. So we can't be everywhere every second, but we try. With that note, just be aware, school starts, and we'll be doing traffic enforcement around the school. So if you have kids, you're going to see me. It's going to be a sad, well, I hope we take it a different way, but I'm going to be that bad person and give you a citation. So be careful around the school areas, because we are going to be enforcing all the laws around the school. Again, it's going to be random as much as we can. So just be careful. AB 413, daylight laws. Right now, the new law right now is that if you can see right here, this car right here, anywhere you can take a right turn. It is, I believe, 20 feet from the crosswalk. And it's usually about 1 car length. If you want to just judge it, we can't say 20 feet exactly, but about a car length. Cannot be in this crosswalk area right here. When it's a right turn, remember, right turn. Because you can't make that turn and be safe if someone's walking across the street. So that's that new law. So if you can see this side, if you're taking that right turn, this is okay. Again, it hasn't been enforced yet, but it will be. It does not have to be a red zone. Remember, it does not have to be a red zone, but this is illegal, this is illegal. As you can see, any right turn that you make has to have 20 feet clearance to the intersection. Again, parking is a little different, but anything, if you think right turns, if you see the sidewalk right here, you have to have 1 car length in between here to make it legal. Again, it is a citable offense. It's a parking ticket. It's not an infraction. It is actually an infraction, but it'll be a parking, no it's not. Infractions are from what I would give. But a parking ticket is totally different from a citation, okay? So make the difference of that. So that's the new law that we want to be aware. If you're making a right turn and you're trying to park right at that curb where sometimes we're at parties or curves or events where it might be open, just be aware of that part. You have 20 feet for clearance between that right turn. As you can see, left turn, you're okay. This side would be okay, but the right side has to be clear.
Only if there's a crosswalk, right?
Any crosswalk. Any crosswalk.
Just a crosswalk.
Well,
It can be
every
marked
intersection, yeah.
Just any intersection?
It doesn't have to be a marked crosswalk, it can be an unmarked crosswalk.
Like a grass, like you have a grass corner, house has grass?
Yes.
It's still like
Yes,
that.
any intersection that you can make a turn.
They just park right in the corner.
Yes. Exactly, so that's where it's at. So this is what we're talking about, the e-bikes. Remember, parents, e-bikes are very dangerous. Your kids are going to tell you, oh, I want this bike, I want this bike. Even e-bikes, e-scooters, any electrical vehicle. Because they can also be modified. It's very hard for us to determine which one's which because they modify these bikes just as easy. These young kids, you know, they're so tech savvy where they can just change a battery or program it different and it'll go fast. The reason why we say this is because kids have been doing wheelies, running the roadway, doing all kinds of kid stuff. But they don't understand how unsafe it is because it's cars, they're not wearing helmets, and all the other stuff. So as parents, remember, if they get in trouble and get caused an accident or anything, the parents are responsible. You will be responsible. If they cause an accident, again, you will be responsible for it, not the juvenile. It's the parents. And you're going to say, oh, I didn't know. I just bought this for him, or he bought it off a friend. You have to be aware of what you're giving your kids. There are 3 types. Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3. Again, it's just weird. I still don't understand the Type 1, Type 2, Type 3s. But if you see anything that looks like a motorcycle, like a dirt bike that's electric, that is straight street illegal. You cannot have that on the road. You can have them for recreational use, but they're not legal on the roadway. Anything that's a Type 3, which is anything that can almost go over 25 miles an hour, you actually have to have a driver's license to drive. You have to have a California driver's license to drive that because of the speed. And if you're under 16, you actually have to have a helmet and all the other stuff. So if you're under 16, you're not even illegal to drive it. So parents, know the e-bikes that you're getting your kids. Your kids have to know as well the rules of the road. The laws that they have to stop at every single stop sign and do all that stuff. Again, who's the one in charge of your kids to know what you're giving? It's your responsibility to show them that they have to know the rules of the road. And California Highway Patrol actually gives them a free class that they can take. So if any of your kids want to take it or take your kids to this class, it's a free class that CHP actually has. I'm not sure, I have it on the slide. Yes, right here. Proper education used for e-bike, bicycle, e-bikes, any electronic bike, CHP will give them that free course. And again, it's our responsibility to, as parents and everything, to let our kids know what they're supposed to do. Do we see them doing it? Maybe yes, maybe no, but only when their parents are around. But you know, when the kids, other kids are around, we're all young at one time. You know, we're gonna go mess around a little more than we usually, but it's your parents' responsibility to educate your kids with these e-bikes because they are very dangerous. Yes, Jerry?
Do you make random checks at the schools, and what do you do when you find one?
Well, we actually, yeah, thank you, Jerry. We do random checks at the schools because schools have been having issues with kids on their e-bikes. We will actually go, depending on the school. Every school district is different. I only can tell you what we do at Temple City. We will go to random checks with the school when they call us. We'll go into the school and we will actually look at the bikes that they have on the bike rack. Once we determine that this bike is an illegal bike, the school will actually take the bike and seize it, and this is a school, and they will call the parent. The parent has to come and take pretty much go to the school will talk to them about the bike that they have. And they will seize it, and the parent has to sign off on the bike to take it out, and they can't take it to the school anymore. So that's what we're trying to do to eliminate these issues with kids with motorized bikes or motorcycles or jet bikes that they have to the school. So pretty much anything motorized is illegal anyways. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I want to go back to the daylight law. So when you make a right-hand turn, does that mean you can't be in the crosswalk when you make a right-hand turn?
No, about parking. No, parking. This is cars.
This is parking.
Yes.
I want to make sure.
We don't want anyone in the crosswalk while you're making the turn anyway, so you have to be careful, okay?
I just want to make
So
sure.
her question was taking that right turn if someone's in the crosswalk, if I'm not mistaken, right? That has nothing to do with it. You shouldn't make the turn when people are in the crosswalk anyways. It's just a clearance on your right-hand side, so when you make that turn, you have a clear path of knowing that no one's in that area standing in the curb or they're trying to step out.
But it's legal to cross over the crosswalk when you make the right-hand turn.
As long as you stop before that crosswalk, remember, you can make a turn, but you have to make it safely. So once you go into the limit line, what we call the limit line, let's see if I can get this back. This is what we call a limit line, right here.
Right.
You have to actually, legally, you all have to stop behind that. That's considered a stop. If you actually go into this, it's actually illegal that you've already impeded on the limit line. Because if someone was walking across the street, just for example, somebody walked across the street and you impeded that, that is actually a violation.
But if you stop and there's nobody there.
Then you're impeding, yes, you can move forward so that you can make it safely. But you can't go all the way up here, stop right here and go, oh, I'm making that turn. Which, you know, none of us do that California stop, right? We're all perfectly do full stops, right? But that's what that law is for, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I think this is pretty much the end of our presentation. Oh, volunteers, which we talked about earlier. We do have a volunteer program at the Sheriff's Station. The volunteer station, it's all community people that live in the city. If you would like to become a volunteer, we have information here with Deputy Johnson, and it's in the back of our pamphlet that you can be a volunteer. You actually have to be cleared though. Not everyone can be it, so be aware. You will have to do a minor background check to make sure everything's okay. You'll get training on how to drive a vehicle, and then you have to get training to learn how to use the radios properly. So it's a little bit of work, but you remember, it's for your community and the people who you live with. Our volunteer program is getting aged out. A lot of them are getting a lot older. We're having less and less. So if you would like the opportunity to become a volunteer for your city, let us know and contact Deputy Johnson. We're here if you have any information, any questions on becoming a volunteer. I think that is it. Oh, support services. Here's the numbers that we have for the station. There's a county line if you need help. We also have domestic hotline. If you need help, if you're having problems with your family, your spouse or your loved one, and you need a little help, and this is just, there's resources for you to help you out with that. our elderly abuse, if you have any other crimes that you think you might have, again, with mental health. If you know that someone needs mental health issues, that needs help, that you don't want, it doesn't insist of law enforcement interaction right away, you actually have the Department of Mental Health that they can help you with that resource, okay? Suicide prevention, again, if you know someone, always refer them to these numbers. And again, Humane Society. If you have any issues with Humane Society and stuff, which is not really related to law enforcement, but sometimes we are called, Humane Society's there. Coyotes, I know that's going to be one of the main things for everyone that says, coyotes we can't do anything about. Coyotes are, I don't know how you say it, they're here. They've been here before we have. As long as they're not attacking any other animals or anything else, animal control will not come out for coyotes because this is their natural habitat. So that's just a quick question for that. But I think that is the end of our presentation. You know.
Who still hasn't turned in the survey? Please raise your hand and I'll come around and give you a raffle ticket. We have a lot of great prizes.
We're doing pretty good on time, but I have a question.
Yes, Jerry.
Traveling down Oak Avenue and you come to Longdon, and the crossing guard is there and stopping traffic east and west for students. Can I go north and south?
Yes. If he's blocking east and west, you can still travel north, but there's usually, because it's a one-lane highway, it's kind of a little difficult if they're trying to go east and west too, so it blocks you off.
Yeah.
But yes, you still have to do a full, complete stop.
Right. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And there's been a kid over there by Target that rides his bicycle and does wheelies. He's been playing chicken with people. He does speak twice.
Yes.
So right out, he's
at the Target, Brusby?
Yeah, that street, the one that goes east and west.
That would be Marshall.
Yeah, right by Marshall.
Yeah.
I've seen him go in front of people and just do that. Try to want to get out and just ring it.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're going to do a raffle. If you have your ticket, keep your ticket. Thank you.